What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Real Ones Canes podcast. He's Cam Underwood. He's managing editor, State of the U. Go check out the great coverage of Miami Hurricanes losses at stateoftheu.com. You can follow Cam at Underwood Sports. I am Brian the Beast London. You can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Cam and I are both downtrodden this morning. It's Sunday morning, just after 9:30 a.m. We have not talked about the game at all, really, other than some text going back and forth during the game. And we have said very little to each other about the game before we hit record. So this is going to be fun. Cam, good morning, my friend. It is good to see you.
Good morning to you as well, with a freshly shaven head. You know, I see that.
How to get trimmed up? And
I was gonna say, I was gonna get the beard's looking nice.
We get it lined up, and all that stuff.
Okay. I see your cheek go, man. We get it.
Yeah. So, there was a football game yesterday in Dallas, Texas.
Indeed.
Gerald Ford Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
The one laughing spot of the day for me was the viral post and pictures of them doing a trivia contest at the stadium where they gave you like 4 or 5 different options of what is the name of the stadium, and they gave you the answer of Gerald Ford Stadium, and still people could not get it right.
Even though it was emblazoned in large letters on top of the scoreboard that has the video board that had the question. And it was like, is it FDR Stadium or George H.W. Bush Stadium or Woodrow Wilson Stadium or Gerald R. And it literally, just like you're looking at it on the screen here with the Real Ones Cane podcast. Like, imagine if we were to ask somebody, what's the name of this podcast? Is it da-da-da-da-da? And it's there on your screen. Right there. Yeah.
Literally
was that same thing. So that was
it. Yeah, that was cool. All right, let's start here.
In case you've been living under a rock, just to set the stage, Miami went and lost 26-20 in overtime to SMU. So that is the result and the journey there that we were discussing.
Instead of going offense, defense, special teams like we normally do, I think what we'll do is we will do your amazing piece that you write every week for State of the U. The good, the bad, and the ugly, but we will do it in reverse order. We will do the ugly, the bad, and then at the end we'll have a little kicker with the good.
Sure.
Just so we can get all the bad juju out first, and then we'll end on a happy note with Malachi Tony looked good. Great. Yay. Okay. Although he did get called on the penalty, so whatever. All right, let's start with the ugly, Cam. There was a lot of ugly. And can I say this actually before we even get started? Because Chris Bello, whose family owned all sports that became all Canes, and he's written about Miami since 1996.
Okay.
He had a good tweet, good post last night, which was 2 things can be true. Miami could have played terrible and lost the game on their own right, but also the officiating was an abomination. Both of those things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
And as we talk about the officiating, if we do talk about it at all, I'm sure we will, I don't want to blame the officiating for the loss. That is squarely on the shoulders of all those involved with the University of Miami program.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, the ACC can go straight to hell with their officials, because it's just ridiculous. We on the show that we did to preview this game, we pointed out where Miami stood in the conference and nationally as it related to penalties against opponents that they played, but also we talked to you about all of the non-calls on holding on Ruben Bain and all of the screw jobs that Miami's gotten from ACC officials. And yesterday, I didn't know what to do with myself. So again, I just wanted to put this out there that I am not in any way saying I am blaming the officials for the loss, because I'm not. But you know what? They also sucked.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just start right there. I agree with that statement. You can evaluate the performance of the officials as bad as you want, ugly, nefarious, even in some instances, if you believe it to be so.
Sure.
And also say, and not place the blame for the loss on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah, I agree. The officials were atrocious. They called multiple holdings on Francis Mawinoa when the defender was rushing and lost his balance and was going to the ground. And so Mawinoa,
like you have no choice. Yeah, exactly.
He didn't hold him up and say, "Okay, wait, no, hey, little buddy, you're slipping on the ice there, kid." When I, was a kid and I was, running too fast on the icy sidewalk at the Waldorf school that I attended. Oh, hey, we got to hold you up. No, if you went and you tried to do a dip to the front move and you went, ass over tea kettle, then I'm going to continue that. That's absolutely categorically not holding. They called that twice. Okay. On a pass to Jojo Trader, I believe it was, or Keelan Marion, one of the two up the left sideline. I think it was Keelan Marion. But the pass interference, which was clear.
Yeah, we're gonna pick that flag up.
The defender got beat, and then with both hands reached out and grabbed and pulled on the trailing arm of the receiver, which slowed him down and made him unable to get to the pass. And then the officials right there made the right call and then got overruled by the white hat and said, "Oh, yeah, no, we're not going to." WTF are you doing? And I'm trying to keep this PG and not actually curse because I'm very vehemently upset. That's atrocious. Notice how.
And by the way, Roddy Jones continuing to argue. Oh, that wasn't a PI. That wasn't a PI. Hey, Roddy, you know what?
You played defense, buddy. You're not going to think that anything was PI. No way, he played offense.
No, he was a running back at Georgia Tech. So I'm so sorry that his team lost. That's a whole different story. Yeah, the officiating was terrible. I mean, we can sit here for an hour and talk about how bad it was. But
the only thing I was going to continue to categorically go down the worst calls. So thank you for stopping me on that.
Well,
I will say,
can we just pick out one more of the literally the worst call I've ever seen besides Terry Porter in the end zone at Ohio at the Fiesta Bowl, the roughing the passer Lightfoot. I mean, it was literally quite clear he did not hear the whistle, and it was literally quite clear he didn't.
Yeah. I know. Hey, and Mario kind of made a sideways comment about it. Well, we're calling that, and it was clear he didn't. So then, why are you not going, cafecito crazy, Mario, and screaming at them to get them to influence that?
They would not have changed anything.
At some point, you got to do something.
Well, no, I mean, someone did bring up a good point, which is, you know what, Mario, you're making a ton of money. Take the fine. Just rip the hell out of the officials.
That's what I'm saying. You have to do something. Yeah. Your season is on the line, right? So that's that. I did just want to put a minor bow on the penalties.
Yes.
Notice how neither Brian nor I are blaming the false starts on officiating. Now, we can continue to say there are too many of them. It's killing drives. It killed the first drive yet again. And then we're seeing those things. But notice that that's not a point of the evaluation. Even without that, though, there were so many
terrible calls.
Bad, terrible, and game-changing calls that somebody has to say it. And if Mario won't for whatever reason, then that is a cross that I will bear. But yeah, so we can start there. What is the next ugly topic?
Well, let's just start with the big picture, the 35,000-foot view. And you write it in the good, the bad, the ugly, TheStateOfTheU.com. right at the top, Welp, the season's over.
Yep.
That is the ugliest of the ugly, because that is the end result of losing yesterday. There was, you had no margin for error. Now listen, I will put an asterisk. Crazy shit can happen, right? Like, crazy stuff can happen. You don't know. Maybe there's a chance somehow, in some way, by some sort of weird situation, but being a University of Miami fan, we're never going to get the benefit of the doubt. That committee is never going to go in there and be like, you know what, we should put Miami. Like, if Georgia had lost to Florida, right? Do you think that somehow the University of Miami would be ahead of Georgia in the queue to get into the college football playoff? No, it just wouldn't happen. So I'd give it about a 0.3% chance, but I just want to throw that out there. But for all intents and purposes, the season is now over. The ACC, not happening. The national championship, the playoffs, not happening. You are not reaching any of your goals. The season is over. That is the ugliest of the ugly.
I saw that the athletics projection after the game had still Miami with a 30% chance to make.
Oh, that's way too high.
The playoffs. I quote tweeted that and said that's astronomically high. Yeah. That's exponentially too high.
Take the 0 off, maybe 3.
Right. This morning, ESPN's FPI projection has 14.4%. So 1 out of 7.
Okay.
That's closer. I still think that's high.
Too high, yes.
You know, but the precedent was set last year. A 10-2 Miami team that wins all of their non-conference, loses 2 conference games, and does not make the ACC championship game is not a playoff team. It's the direct correlation comparison to last year. And I know what people are going to say. People are going to say, Cam, you upgraded the non-conference. Florida's better this year, even though they fired Billy Napier. But you can see, okay, that's a better team. You sub Ball State, who was like ranked 132nd out of 134 last year, for Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre
right?
Dame.
In the non-conference.
Yeah.
Because you played USF last year, but they're better than last year.
Yeah, valid point.
You look at, so you can say, wait, every one of our non-conference games is better, and you have more national brands, including one of the biggest national brands in Notre Dame, and Notre Dame has 2 losses, so the comparison is head-to-head. I'm going to sit here right now on November the 2nd, and I'm going to look directly into my camera, and I'm going to tell you, Miami and Notre Dame in the season, both 10-2, the committee is absolutely picking Notre Dame, regardless of the head-to-head, period. I understand what you were saying. I get the logical foundation and viewpoint because I, like you, am a Miami Hurricanes fan, alum, all of those things. It will not matter one iota if the comparison and the choice is between Notre Dame and Miami, where Notre Dame, their 2 losses would then have been, at the time, top 10 ranked Miami, who went all the way up to number 2, and then a Texas A&M team that still to this day is undefeated and looking like one of the top 5 teams in the country. Those are their 2 losses. Our 2 losses are to a slightly above average Louisville team where our quarterback threw them the ball 4 damn times, and we still only lost by 3, playing our D- game, and then going on the road to SMU and, I almost said the F word, messing about all day long and snatching defeat from the hands of victory. None of those things are the same. So, yeah. And on top of that, we've already had the additional precedent from last year that a 3-loss SEC team is greater than a 10-2 Miami team. So you put all of those things together, ain't no chance, buddy. No Season's chance.
Over. The next thing on the ugly. Well, you know what? I'll let you pick. Ready? I'll give you these 2 choices.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 2 choices.
Please.
We can discuss Carson Beck and that aspect of the ugly that ended the game on an interception plus his post-game comments. Or we could tackle penalties because yay.
You want to do more penalties?
Oh, yeah, because the ones we actually committed. I made a list of the pre-snap infractions by offensive linemen, which continues, and I've now lost count at this point, but it's way over 20-something. So if you want to go there, we can. It was 12 penalties, 96 yards. Granted, some of them, shouldn't have been penalties, the Lightfoot penalty, the couple others, but still way too freaking many. So do you want to go there or Carson Beck? You pick.
Can I go off the board and lead into Carson?
Sure. Okay.
This is going to be uncomfortable. This player is going to feel all, 16 wheels of this bus run them over. Jojo Trader dropping that ball. That drop changed everything. It is not a one-to-one direct correlation. He dropped that pass, we lose the game. Because it was in the second quarter, we were only at 7. Like, there was so much more to the game there. I am not going to let him off the hook. I am not. You had already toasted him for a touchdown. You're wide open, right? So you're like, hey, coach, put me in. I'm cooking.
He was.
Right? So Carson looked off because there were 2 other open receivers on that play and said, nah, buddy. It's like the NBA. If a play works, what do? They run it till you stop it. And they'll go through all 4 iterations and 5 counters off of it. But we're going to run the same thing over and over. It's not the exact same because you're not going to run the exact same play, but the connection of quarterback to receiver, because whoever's on you can't cover you, we're going to go back to that. And you get your opportunity with CJ Daniels out. You didn't already scored a 35-yard touchdown, your second touchdown ever, because you scored one in the bowl game. You're out here proving people, all of the people who were stumping for Jojo Trader to get playing time, regardless of whatever he was doing to not have the playing time, you're proving every single one of them right. And then Carson says, cook. And he hits you again. And you drop, and then hit the ball up into the interception. It's one of the worst plays I've seen. It's unacceptable. And I do not care that he was contrite on the sideline. My bad. We all know it's bad, JoJo. You were the one who was wide open by 2 steps in the seam. It wasn't me. It wasn't Brian. It wasn't Brandon. It wasn't anybody else. No, it is unacceptable. Hold on 1 second. Let me finish, please.
Please, okay.
Because it is also a microcosm of the Miami Hurricanes that you have a moment, an opportunity for even a modicum of greatness. It wasn't going to be a touchdown. It was probably going to be 15, 20 yards up the seam, right? But a nice play takes you over 100 yards. You get 100 and a touchdown, maybe another touchdown later. Just a modicum of success given the opportunity presented to you. And what do? You fumble it, you F it up, and the other team is profiting and celebrating on their sideline because you can't ball the way that you think you can ball. I'm sorry. And like I said, I am throwing him under the bus for that because you absolutely have to catch that ball, period, pointblank.com, end of story. Also as well, let's get a couple of wheels of that bus on Elijah Lofton at the end of the first half. You run a spot route in the end zone. You're a tight end. He's the best player on the team, as we've heard whispers of from many people associated with the program.
Constantly. Still, as recently as last week, we were told, both Cam and I, that Elijah Lofton is still considered by the staff the best player on the team.
Well, not the whole staff, but multiple people on
the staff. Sorry, I didn't mean to mischaracterize. Yes.
I just wanted to be clear because I didn't want people to say,
not the whole staff. No, not the whole staff, but multiple people on the staff.
Multiple people. So you have your feet in the end zone. You have a ball that's on time in your hands, and you mean to tell me that you're unexpecting of contact when you stopped in between 2 dudes on zone coverage and you let that ball hit the ground so we have to settle for a field goal before the half? Unacceptable. And that's another instance. That's a microcosm of this team, given the opportunity to show and prove what we've been hearing. Best playmaker on the team, best football player on this team. We have Ruben Bain. I said what I said. We have CeCe Mawinoa. I said what I said. We have Keontae Scott.
Yeah.
Thorpe Award semifinal staff members. I said what I said. Elijah Lofton is the best player on the team, and you drop that MFing ball, again, given a small opportunity to prove your worth and step into the greatness that's there in front of you. And again, it's a 4-yard touchdown. It's not even a national championship, but you had the opportunity to make a positive, impactful play, and you did not do so. So I don't care. Elijah Lofton for that drop, under the bus. Jojo Trader for that game-changing drop, under the bus. Ugly. I don't care. And we can continue now to the quarterback.
Well, no, I'm going to deviate to the left for 1 second. First, First, I just want to slow the bus down for 1 second because there's a kid crossing the street, and we don't want to take out. So I agree with you that both of those drops were unacceptable. But when the game was done and I was just kind of reflecting, so much went wrong during the game that it's like, okay, like that was a stupid play, Jojo Trader, whatever. Then I was like, you know what? Elijah Lofton should have caught that ball. He got absolutely jacked. But then I was like, whatever. There was so much other stuff wrong. It was such a complete and utter just crap fest that I was just like, I don't like whatever. I just gave up. Now, what I wanted to get to, let me pose this question to you, because the reason why we had Jojo Trader yesterday was because CJ Daniels suddenly somehow out of thin air appeared on the injury list, and then was games, and then was out, and like this is the second week in a row where the initial injury report that comes out Thursday night at 9 p.m. 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Didn't have a player on it, and then the next injury report on Friday. When they don't practice, they're traveling on Friday. So I don't know what you could possibly do wrong on Friday that would put you on the injury report list. But sure. And then all of a sudden, a couple players end up on the Friday list. And then all of a sudden, Saturday, they're out. Listen. Bill Belichick had an entire career where he fudged around with injury reports. Like he would put Tom Brady on literally every week of his entire career. Just whatever, but I'm so sick of it. Like, I'm sure we'll get into coaching and Mario in the big picture, but like, dude, I cannot. I'm sick of sitting in front of that dude. And I have a ton of respect for Mario. He's a fellow Cane, so there's that. But like, don't you just listen? Stop. Just stop with the stupid. Like, what are you doing? It's a professional sport now. Like, don't screw around with injury reports. Like, either. I mean, like, seriously, I just can't. I'm sorry.
Well, I hear you with the injury report games. That was something that I wrote on the Ugly. And yeah, this is not exclusive to Miami, because conferences, while mandating that there be a report, have not instituted firm structures for these reports, such as the NFL. And we've even seen the Ravens get actually, we don't even know what their attendance is going to be, because they straight lied on theirs.
Right.
1 week, they said Lamar Jackson was full participant. They had the whole, social media thing. Hey, look who's at practice. Da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, he's out for the game. And you're like, whoa. And then they went and amended the Friday practice report to say, well, he's limited. And it was like, no. So I hear you. My thing is, it's not just us.
Oh, no.
The ACC needs to step in and say something and say, no, this is, or whatever. All the conferences need to come together and say, these are the structures of what an injury report is. Because unless or until that happens, teams, including and especially Miami, are going to continue to maybe paint outside the lines a little bit.
Well, but here's my point, though. If CJ Daniels plays yesterday, that drop doesn't, that interception probably doesn't happen. He probably makes that catch.
Well, I mean, he'd been dropping balls in each of the last 3 games himself. Now, maybe it's not as catastrophic, but again, I don't even need to live in the hypothetical world of maybe we had a CJ Daniels, or you had the opportunity, Josiah Trader, and you did not perform. You had the opportunity, Elijah Lofton, and you did not perform. That is not affected by the injury report.
And Carson Beck, you had the opportunity to perform. And at the end, when it counted most, even though receiver on the right side of the end zone was tackled, that was not called.
God,
like absolutely just literally body slammed in the end zone
in front of the back judge. By the way, referees just where the F you at?
Yeah.
And I know where he was at because he was right there looking at it and said, "Wow, is this Greco?" Am I doing a Tuesday night high school Greco-Roman wrestling tournament? 2 2-point takedown, great. And
it was ridiculous. But Carson Beck, listen, you can talk about the route and this and that, and they undercut and they played the perfect defense and whatever. But you know what, buddy? You threw the interception when we needed a touchdown the most. That's why you ended up on the ugly. But Carson Beck, Cam, the first interception was not his fault because that was JoJo's fault.
At all.
His game was fine, right? Like it was fine up until that point. But that one hurt. And after the game, in the post-game press conference, which was very short.
Boy, was it. Both. Yeah. I mean, Mario and then 3 players. I watched both of them on the Miami Hurricanes YouTube. All 4 of them combined was fewer than 15 minutes.
Correct. Gary Furman from Kane Sport asked Carson Beck. Well, I'll play the question, but basically, hey, after the JoJo situation, it seems like the passing game kind of, changed. And Carson had an interesting answer that I interpret one way. I think Cam's going to interpret another way, but I'd like to play it for everyone so that we can see what you think of his answer. So let me hit that now.
You guys came out really hot with the passing game early in the first quarter. I know you hit JoJo multiple times. He had almost 100 yards. And then the drop pass interception happened early in the second quarter, and that seemed to change a lot. Did they do anything differently to take away your downfield plays?
No, I mean, they ran the same thing the whole time. I just execute the play that's called, and if I'm given the opportunity to, if I see something and change something, then I will. But again, I just execute the play that's called, and we weren't able to execute, at a high level at the end to be able to close it out.
So when I first heard that, actually when I first saw it, I thought, okay, I think he's possibly throwing Shannon Dawson under the bus. Then I watched it again and again and again. And this morning I went to go find the clip so I could watch it again and cut it down and watch it again. And I still think he's throwing Shannon Dawson under the bus, but I don't think you feel that way.
I don't really. I think that, emotions are high. He knows that the season's over, and I just think it was a measure of truth. Like, SMU didn't really change anything. Like, their pass defense is not good. It is opportunistic, excuse me. So, we hit them with some throws, and then, if there's a tip drill or a ball that's kind of hanging out there, they make plays, but they give up tons of plays. They didn't really do anything differently, and then, maybe it's a measure of, if I'm given an opportunity because of all the, Miami's and Mario Cristobal's penchant for wanting to run the ball, and things like that. I just thought it was a direct answer, as direct as you can be without endangering your relationships with the team and the coaches, of a quarterback who's lost a game and knows that the goals that he set out for himself and for this team coming here from Georgia have now gone by the wayside.
Yeah. By the way, that draft stock, plummeting on the draft stock.
Yep.
seriously, it wasn't a couple of weeks ago that he was in the Heisman race and going to be a first-round pick. But all of that is gone, much like Miami season. All right, we're going to take a break. On the other side, here's what we'll do. We're gonna we'll smack it up, flip it, and rub it down. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna just when we come back, Cam will try to give us a little bright spot with some of the good stuff that he saw yesterday, and then we have to have some difficult conversations. We have to have some really difficult conversations.
Let's do it.
Offensive line penalties, which I am going to correlate to their coaching. And then we have to talk about coaching and some more coaching. So we will do that and more on the other side. It's the Real Ones Canes podcast. We are back here on the Real Ones Canes podcast. I'm Brian the Beast London. You can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. He is Cam Underwood, managing editor, State of the U. Follow Cam at Underwood Sports, stateoftheu.com. Always amazing content and no different here on a Sunday morning after a loss, Cam.
Yeah. Hey, we're here all the time. Storm and sunshine, win or loss. Been doing this for the better part of 15 years. So think about the teams and the games that we've seen. So we're not going anywhere. On the feed, you can see that there are people, community members who are stepping up with things. Esberg walked away from Aline Perez 10 years ago. On Friday was the 10-year anniversary of the return at Duke. So we wrote, there was this. So I actually wrote a retrospective based on this comment. And then there's some other things from me. But in terms of our site content, you have the film review, which just posted from yesterday's season-ruining loss. Storm Center, my Sunday link dump of all kinds of things. Oh, something else, and I'll just throw it out there. Miami are a 27.5-point favorite over Syracuse on homecoming, which already has 10 comments. Good goodness. And I know I wrote it at 1:40 in the morning because I was up late, and that's when that popped. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has 150 comments already. Gee willikers. 3 stars. The recap, almost 1,000 comments in the game thread. My goodness. All of that and more. Stateoftheu.com. And we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to have more stuff, commentary, analysis, and evaluation of this team and program. But all of that just a click away. Please come on over and fan with us and join the legion that have already left comments because there's lots to comment about.
Cam, because I don't want us to be branded Donnie Downers, I will give you a few minutes to go over some of the good we saw yesterday. I'm sure there was some.
There was some. First of all, and I know that, I did throw him under the bus, but Jojo Trader with a very solid game. Let me pull it up. He had 5 catches for 81 and a tud in his, he had tons of extended action. People were clamoring for him to get opportunities. He played 22 snaps against Stanford, but the ball didn't find him. But obviously with CJ Daniels out, the ball found him early and often, and he was very productive. And I'm just going to leave it there. We already talked about the negative, but also he was out there in the run game, so he was blocking a lot and everything, which you have to do. He
has done well every time he's gotten an opportunity. Yeah. Yeah.
So shout out to him. As always, All-American Malachi Toney, 7 catches for 90 yards, 2 carries for -1 because those early swing passes were actually laterals that went backwards, so those count as runs. And then a 47-yard punt return, which set up Miami for what should have been a touchdown, but Elijah Lofton can't catch the ball. So it ended up being a field goal right before the half. But Malachi Toney played very well. Mark Fletcher, 16 for 84 with 3 catches for 19 on some checkdowns. Another strong day. Could have been, I think there was meat left on the bone from all of the running backs, but I think that Mark Fletcher obviously did a great job. Keontae Scott is an All-American.
Oh, he's amazing.
I mean, he's a semifinalist for the Thorpe Award. He was the first player up in post-game interviews, and he's what a fifth, sixth year senior.
By the way, the way he handles himself, that is a professional man of he is. Yeah.
He's not a 19-year-old.
No,
he's 22, 23. He's a grown man.
Yes,
and he's
correct.
We got to do this. And he's he came from Auburn. He's been playing. Look, you lose games. We do this. We're going to, not we do this as we do this, but you got to go out there, you got to work, you got to perform. The coach calls plays, you go out there, you execute it, and we're going to focus on that, and we're going to move forward. It was very, he's not a new intern. You know what I mean? Like, he's been here, he's done this, he's not new to this, true to this. 6 tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack, a hurry, and a PBU. I mean, this man affects the run game. This man, with his blitzing, affected the passing game because Corey Heatherman's calling blitzes from all angles because he had a feel for, okay, Rhett Lashlee's probably going to roll Kevin Jennings this way on this play. So I'm going to bring Keontae Scott that way, and then that half roll turns into a 1-2, oh, shoot, let me not roll all the way that way because, I was going to say big number 0. He's not really that big. But, man, Keontae Scott, he's an All-American, like full stop. I don't know that there's a better nickel in America. And this is a guy who, I know that Charles Brantley, allegedly, purportedly, rumoredly had issues at the beginning of the year, which is why he didn't play in some early games, Charles Brantley. But Keontae Scott stepped in, and Brantley was going to be a slot defender, like that, battling for that nickel. Keontae Scott, where are the snaps coming? Because you're not taking 0 off the field ever. He is such a linchpin of this defense, and his run defense from that nickel slot, overhang defender has been so great, and it is integral to the structure of the run defense for that player to affect the run, and he has done that in spades. Carter Davis, 2 for 2 on field goals, and a great form tackle on what would have otherwise been a kick return for touchdown. Dylan Joyce, 5 punts for 230, a 46-yard average with 3 inside the 20, 1 that should have been downed inside the 2, but Keontae Scott also recovered a fumble on a 4th down jet sweep to the tight end that they tried with RJ Maryland, did SMU on their first drive. I mean, all of those things, really, really good. I mean, you had more yards of offense this week than last with 433, 5.6 yards per play, 10.5 yards per completion, 23 first downs. You held SMU to 3 of 13 and 0 on 3rd down and 0 of 1 on 4th down. You had the ball for 37 minutes and 37 minutes and 42 seconds. 6 TFLs, 2 sacks, only allowed 4 TFLs and no sacks. Like, there was plenty of good.
Well, can I actually mention, I don't think you mentioned this guy, but I'd like to give him a shout just because he had a good game yesterday. Keelan Marion with 5 catches on 6 targets, 77 yards. He stepped up when you needed a third guy to get into the mix. Last week it was Tony Johnson. This week it was Keelan Marion. So we give, I'd like to just shout him out.
No, and that's very well met there. Also, where is it? Let me see. I'm going through all of the 3rd downs. Beck completion up the middle it was a dig route up and across it over the middle. 16 yards on 3rd and 8. Boom. Over the middle to Keelan Marion, 21 yards on 3rd and 8. Conversion. Boom. Deep over the middle. 16 yards on 3rd and 15 late. Boom. So 3 of those catches were so integral to drives that ended in points, But 3rd and long, we're going to run. It wasn't even necessarily a dagger, which is the number 2 runs a vertical route and the number 1 runs a dig behind him. That's that concept. It wasn't even always a dagger. The last one was, hey, go run a dig by yourself. Just get open, fake like you're going to go outside, get the defender to flip his hips, cut across and the ball will be there. And he did a really great job. That's a really good call out because he's someone who had struggled to the point of coming off the field more against Stanford to give opportunities to Jojo Trader and Tony Johnson. So a good bounce back performance in a vacuum, a good performance.
Let's be honest. He was brought here more for his kick return prowess than his wide receiver capabilities, and he stepped up as a wide receiver. All right.
True.
Let's start with penalties because I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. So let me go through this. This is of the 12 penalties. I simply just wrote down as I was taking notes yesterday, pre-snap offensive line penalties because they piss me off. And I'll get to why they piss me off so much in a second. The first quarter.
I have them all. Just
the first quarter, Markel Bell, offsides. Brockermeyer, snap infraction. That's
Wait. Markel Bell was a false start, not offsides.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
But it was 2nd and 2.
Yes,
continue.
Correct.
Sorry.
Brockermeyer, snap infraction. That's about his 27th snap infraction of the year. Second quarter, there was none. I don't think I'm wrong. At least that's what my notes say. Third quarter.
Pass interference, holding. Yeah,
no, I didn't count holding. Yeah.
I was just going through.
Yeah. Third quarter, Inez Cooper. He jumped.
True.
And then we have our good friend Samson Okunlola. He jumped. It was a false start.
On 3rd and 3.
Yeah. He's been guilty of several. And then the fourth quarter, another Markel Bell. False start.
Back.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 12 penalties. It really is 11 penalties. I'm not counting the Marquise Lightfoot. That was the stupidest penalty I've ever seen. So 5 of 11, almost half the penalties, offensive lineman jumping, doing something before the play.
And to extend that, 9 of the 12 penalties were on offense.
So,
and of those,
and there was a couple holdings. Although the Mawanoa holding was, like you said, was not a hold.
True. But yeah, you have that. Mario was asked of something about the penalties and did try to say, well, basically we got affected by late stemming, teams moving laterally up front, and we've tried to communicate when teams are simulating our cadence and blah, 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 blah. But, they didn't say anything, and it is what it is. And I'm like, no, some earth needs to be scorched, Mario. Whether it's to the league office or on the field, ho-hum, we know teams are stealing our cadence and mocking or, and simulating it. And it affects us with a false start or a snap infraction.
And by the way, I heard yesterday, it was so loud, bro. That stadium max capacity is 32. They can jam 34 in there, but it's an open. It's not even it's not even designed to be a loud stadium. It's not like it's the Orange Bowl or where the Seahawks play or Kyle Field. It's not. It's simply an open bowl with 32,000 fans. Maybe. And you're going to let that impact you? Well, get the hell out of here.
I heard. Amen. The one time it got loud was the one play with the Marquise Lightfoot thing. I don't know if you were paying attention, because I know a lot of people will watch games on mute. I don't do this.
Oh, no, I don't.
But they went to a sights and sounds. We're going to give you the ambiance of the environment. And it was so dead when it was in the second quarter. Barry Jackson tweeted about it. I quoted it. I said, they had no atmosphere. Honestly, you would have gotten more sauce from your local Publix.
Correct.
Just the ambient sounds in your local, wherever you are, your local Publix, Wegmans, HEB, wherever you're watching this, go to your local grocery store, and the ambient sound was more vivacious than Gerald R. Ford Stadium.
It was louder in my living room on my couch.
It was, and they went to it for 4 minutes real time, and I'm just like, this is not inspiring. This is I get the idea to step out of commentary in big moments. The World Series, you have a home run or something.
Correct. Sure.
You make the call, oh my God, and then you STFU and you let the environment paint the picture for you. Dog, them wine and cheesers over there at SMU, to steal a term that people derogatorily use for Carolina fans. But I mean, you got these old rich fuddy-duddies with no kind of school spirit or anything there, and they're sipping on their mimosas and everything or whatever, and talking about Billy Bob, we're about to go to the cattle auction tomorrow down in Fort Worth. Are you going down there? I usually say my friend or whatever. Like, bro,
they're talking oil.
Oil. But like there was no ambiance or atmosphere, and like they leaned into and I'm just like, dude. Now the thing I will say for Mario and the team, he's not saying we were affected by the stadium atmosphere. We were affected because SMU was simulating our cadence. How long do you need to run the same cadence until you freaking change it?
By the way,
we've been hearing this all year.
By the way, I was told on the broadcast that we changed literally everything because they were worried about, Reuben Bain's brother, basically giving them all the hot goods. But evidently we didn't change that. And, regardless,
multiple staff and 6 or 7 players, having been here previously and as recently as last year, including like Chris Johnson Jr. So hey, they know all of our signal, all of our hand signals, our cadence. They know all of our, if we say Lucy. I mean, anything with the L is going to be audible to
Louis,
right? But it means a specific thing for us. So we're going to change up all of our verbiage and everything. But you still come to me after the game and say, well, they knew our cadence and they were simulating.
But it's happened more than once this year.
I know.
It's not just yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. And at this point, and you couple that with what you just said of, well, we changed everything from top to bottom because we knew that there was so many connections on the SMU side where they would know exactly what we're doing. When are you going to change something? When are you going to do something?
That's the bigger. Okay, that's now we're in a bigger discussion. Okay, and I want to talk about 3 coaches, all on the offense, because they're all pissing me off this morning. We'll go from the bottom up in order of who I'm pissed at. Shannon Dawson as the least, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Alex Mirabal and Mario Cristobal. Okay, those 3 coaches. We'll start with Shannon Dawson. Okay. And the reason why I talk about all 3 of those is because of adaptation. You have to adapt. You have to change. You have to get innovative. You have to grow. You can't stay where you are. Shannon Dawson, just like a game, like just from the whole, from my perspective, again, I don't know ball as well as you know ball, but when I think back to the game and how it was called, I just go, meh. Like there was nothing.
I think.
Like, okay, they lined up Malachi Toney in the backfield. Yay.
Right, but you did that on the first drive and then not again.
Correct.
And I get you do different things first, and then you go back to being who you are as the game goes on. I think that the penalties hamstrung the offense in a big, big way. I think the lack of execution then also impacted the trust that Dawson had in the offense to perform, and specifically the terrible drops by Jojo Trader and Elijah Lofton. I really do. My notebook is in my living room. I'm here in my second room right now as I'm podcasting. I did my best to chart inside versus outside runs. It was pretty even. It was more inside than outside, which I think you're going to have.
But it's also, but can I interject for 1 second?
Please.
With the inside versus outside runs, time and situation of when you run what plays into that.
I agree. And I was getting there.
Okay.
But yes. Sorry. But yes, I hear you. I might have miscategorized 1 or 2 outside zones as inside zone just because they didn't move as far laterally as I was looking for. And I was doing it and I was multitasking. So, and I mean, I know some scheme. I don't know everything. So I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it was in the ballpark of like 1.5 inside runs to one. And that could have been wham, duo, inside zone, power, which was eating early. There were multiple inside run schemes. There's multiple outside run schemes, pin and pull, outside zone, things like that. There were multiple of them. But there was definitely a diversity of run game scheme. I loved seeing that. There was success in the run game. The issue I have, and this goes, and I'm going to skip all the way to the top. The bully ball, we're just bigger, faster, and stronger than you. Well, no, we're bigger and stronger than you, not faster. It can be 3rd and 1. It can be 4th and 1. You can have all 11 guys
in the box
between the tackle, not even in the box, but lined up between our tackles. We're still running it on inside. That's going to be a play that's invariably
we're going to hand it to Mark Fletcher or Marty Brown, and we're just going to seriously let them bash their head into a million people.
That's going to be dive or duo.
Yep.
That's it. Because you don't have room to run power because you can't get the guard to pull you. It's going to be, that is straight Neanderthal ball. And even if our offensive line is bigger and stronger, which it is, you're now asking them all to block 2 guys per play.
Yeah, it's
the numbers, the math ain't math, and the numbers don't work. Yet and still, that is the absolute foundational mentality of the head coach. And so now Dawson is going to call the play.
Okay, right. So
the behest. So I know, like, I'm skipping. I know I'm skipping, but let me finish.
Okay.
Finish.
I love you.
That is part of the run game calculation, tabulation that I was going through. So it is, I get that there are issues with it, and I get that, like, there's more that could have been done, but you talk about servant leadership. As an offensive coordinator, yes, you have some autonomy and everything, but when the big boss says, do this, you do it. And I think also after you saw the drop from Jojo and after you had that terrible drop from Elijah before the half, conservative Cristobal went Operation Shutdown, and Dawson employed that scheme. Which is why I agree he should be number 3 on the list of coaches
exactly.
with whom we have issues.
So what I was just going to say is, like, just to give because I saw all this on X yesterday. It's like, you guys listen, Shannon Dawson should take blame when blame is deserved. And if anyone's going to be a scapegoat on the staff, it's going to be him, because the offensive line coach and the head coach are attached to the waist and other parts. So it's just, that's the way it's going to be. But what I would, I feel like, Cam, okay. You were so stoic that I thought you got frozen. But what I was going to say is, the way the offense goes is basically the idea, the basis, the direction of the offense all comes from the mind of the head coach. Mm-hmm. All of the running game is all designed by Alex Mirabal. That's all him. The one area where Shannon Dawson probably has the most leeway is in the passing game, right? So from a passing game standpoint, how would you grade Shannon Dawson's ability to draw it up yesterday?
I mean, there were guys open. I think that he did well. I think, Carson took checkdowns when checkdowns were there to be taken. Look, perfect is the enemy of good, but you needed better than you got on the last play. A little bit of blame on Malachi Toney, because I think if he continues flat and doesn't leak into the end zone, maybe that's an incompletion and not an interception. But I understand why he leaked up the field, because there was space, and maybe if Carson was one beat quicker on that throw, on that whip route, maybe. But there were guys open. But you had some drops, some really, really consequential ones. But Keelan Marion was open multiple times on 3rd and long when I'm like, oh my God, we're about to go punt. Would have liked to see some more of that. Would have liked to see us attack more in the passing game. And it's something, this goes, to where we're going with this conversation. This is foundational to the belief in the structure of the head coach, because I saw Steve Kim tweet out a long soliloquy.
Yeah. Nope.
And I read it, and I agree with one major point there. When you have a talent advantage, you want more possessions, more plays.
Agreed.
Whether that's in any sport, right? If you remember, for example, Princeton once upon a time beat UCLA as the number 2 overall seed, or like top 3-4 seed, I think. No, they were top 8 seed. They were number 2 in the NCAA tournament when they have nowhere near the kind of athletes. But what did they do? They slowed the ball game down. Yep. They limited possessions. They got it to a 1-possession game. They hit a typical back cut in their Princeton offense. Got a layup. Boom! You end up winning. And UCLA had due to win to the pros. They had all kinds of hoopers. There was no reason that Princeton team should have been on the court with them, but they were able to affect it and slow the game down. And that's what Mario Cristobal coached teams do. They play at a plodding tempo. We go in and execute, that ruthless efficiency kind of a thing and whatnot. But you play the slow tempo. But by playing at that kind of tempo and limiting the snaps, you are, by choice, negating your advantage of talent.
Correct.
And it is frustrating because if you do not do these things, if you play at a faster tempo, and I'm not even saying that you need to go Oregon or whomever breakneck speed, but if you go no huddle and you go tempo a couple of times, you saw what happened with SMU when they went up tempo. It presented issues. Imagine doing that with our superior level of talent, kind of a thing. But you don't do that, and so you intentionally negate the advantage of talent that you came to the stadium with and go to every stadium with. It is frustrating for me, and you can go back and look at StateOfTheU.com. For many years, I've been stumping for Miami to run a spread offense with some measure of tempo. We've gotten spread by formation at some points, but then what are we doing this year? These tight, compacted formations. So there's 3 receivers on the field, but everybody's within the hash marks. No, spread them out and go a little bit of tempo. And the one time we went tempo, they had a defensive injury. So that cost them a timeout in the second half. Cool, but you don't ever go tempo other than that, and that's something that I haven't really said out loud in a while, because we have finally gone to a measure of the style of offense that I prefer, but we should be running even more plays than we run if we go at a higher tempo, even if you only do it after first downs or after chunk plays or whatever. We had 9 chunk plays yesterday. So right there, that's 9 instances of on the ball. One of them was a touchdown because it was a touchdown to Jojo. But there's 8 other snaps where you can go, boom, that's fast, like SMU did. And then, hey, you get 5 yards on that play that you went fast after the chunk play. What do you do again? On the ball. So that's just something that I saw Steve Kim put voice to that I wanted to also say that I agree with. I've said it for a good long time. And it's something that really sticks in my craw because, this game shouldn't have been close.
Yeah, correct.
It honestly should not have been. But the firm ideology of the coach has this team playing in a way that all these games are close when they should not be. And then you do that and you mess up and then you get beat.
We're going to do a third segment, but because the third segment we'll dedicate to Mario and the 35,000-foot view. Real quick, Alex Mirabal, the offensive line coach, supposed to be one of the best in the country, a guru, all of that stuff. Your guys, listen, they may be ultra talented, but if they continue to make mistakes before the snap, that negates what you're trying to do in offense. They need to be more disciplined. And I really don't care what the reason is. I don't care if it's simulated snap counts or noise or, a fly landed on Markel Bell's ear. I don't care. Just cut it out. Something needs to change there. Mario's answer was not sufficient. I'm sure it was something along the lines of, well, we just have to be men and, blah, blah, blah. But
but that also belies his mentality of oh, well, you just have to, be a man and suck up.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Let's go. Right. But
So where were you in defending your team from these, things?
And we'll get to him in a second, but just specifically Alex Mirabal, like, listen, maybe you're the best at teaching technique in the country, but you better get your boys to understand what discipline is.
I agree.
So
I'll take it to the third segment because there's a phrase that I want to use in a statement that I want to say.
Okay. Well.
It applies to all, but I want to save it for the discussion of Mario Cristobal because the buck starts and whatever. He's the big kahuna. Blame goes there. I'll save that for segment 3.
We are going to overtime, a third segment. It's been 3 weeks in a row that we've had to do this. A third segment.
Oh, my fault. Sorry.
On the recap. It is the Beast. It is Cam Underwood. It is the Real Ones Canes podcast. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. Third segment, Real Ones Canes podcast, the recap. Miami loses to SMU in Dallas. He's Cam Underwood, StateOfTheU.com. Go check it out. You can follow Cam at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. Follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Cam, get right to it, man.
Mario Cristobal, as the leader of this team, with all of the things going afoul, right? And there are things that are going really, really well. Shout out to Corey Heatherman. Shout out to the defense.
Yeah.
We've already talked about, Keontae Scott. You had,
by the way,
a couple of guys out.
They had negative rushing yards before overtime yesterday.
Yeah.
So good job by the defense. Okay, go ahead.
But then at the end, we couldn't stop the run on that last drive in overtime, which frustrating. But hey, it is what it is. For Mario Cristobal, and I was leading into this with Alex Mirabal because they are very much inextricably linked. But for this team, we're at a point where either you coach it directly or you allow it to continue. And this folds into what you were saying about the offensive line. If you're not coaching them to jump to jump early for false starts, if you're not coaching them to, get off balance and get holding penalties, if you're not coaching them to be undisciplined, then at this point you're allowing it. We are 6-2. You're 8 games into the season in 10 weeks, right? 2.5 months into the season, not even including fall camp and spring and summer workouts. You either coach it or you allow it. And for a wannabe disciplinarian, allowing the undisciplined play to continue is unacceptable. And it's cost you games, and it has let another season be ruined. There are so many articles. I posted one from Shehan Jayaraja of CBS Sports.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
In the Sunday Storm Center of Shehan actually says Mario Cristobal wasting the talent on this year's roster is a bigger failure than wasting the talent on last year's roster. Which, on surface, you're like, well, they had the number 1 pick last year. When you go and read that piece, again, linked on StateOfTheU.com in Storm Center, you're like, whoa, hey. I just saw Nicole Auerbach. She just posted a thing. I saw Chris Hummer from 247 in the break when I went on Twitter. He's posted it. Like, it is deplorable, the state of affairs. Like, Mario Cristobal's record, I believe that they put it on the screen during the broadcast, a 778 win percentage in September and October, and like a 268 in November.
There's like a 4.4 something difference. Yeah.
And we, said this, leading into the year, like, I predicted 11-1, but you got a 5-week November. Mario Cristobal's teams don't do well in November. And hey, on the first day of November, season ruined. So you didn't even get to the finale at Pittsburgh, which Brian was looking at as like, oh my God, this is the
correct.
You're going into the depths of the fires of Mordor, but like you didn't sneak in the back door, you're going through the front gate, right?
Yeah.
Going into that game, you didn't even get there. You didn't even get there with 1 loss. You know what I mean? But at this point, there's too many data points. There's too many things that are consistent in the performance in a negative way with this program to look anywhere else but Mario. And if he says, I'm the head coach, I lead this organization, this program, everybody who's here and everything that we do is at my behest. How you do anything is how you do everything. So saith Mario Cristobal, right? So at this point, it's not good enough, period. And whether you need to have a real tough conversation with your good buddy Alex Mirabal and say, why don't you come over to the house? We're going to smoke on some cigars, we're going to have some scotch, and we're going to have that tough conversation about things need to change or you're going to need to go. Or whoever or whatever. But yeah, this is just another season of failure, abject failure. You're driving a brand new Ferrari. You have more talent than you can shake a stick at. You got players that teams all over the country wanted. And you, as a great recruiter, got them. You've built up this program from where it was. I think that the program is in a better place now than it was with Manny Diaz, but Manny Diaz has a better winning percentage in his years at Duke than Miami or does with Mario Cristobal in the same term. What are we doing? And I know that the first year, it was 5-7 and then 7-5, but it needs to be better. I will wrap this up by saying anyone who says that Mario Cristobal is on the hot seat does not understand how things work. The university president is a damn near lifelong friend of his, another Columbus guy, in Jojo Trader. The money people, Rudy Fernandez, and then they are all also inextricably linked. Mario Cristobal's coaching seat is so cool. It has integrated air conditioning, guys. And I know I saw somebody, one of these. I'm not going to demean him because I actually do enjoy him. But a contributor for another website is a high school student, and he's like 16 or 17. And so after the game, he's like, Mario Cristobal's is a buyout is this number. That's not even part of the conversation.
Well, I even saw yesterday, hey, let's buy out Mario for whatever, how it's $61 million. And then let's go get Lane Kiffin. And I was just like, hey, one, that's not happening. Two, you're not spending that money and then going to go outbid Florida and LSU for Lane Kiffin. Like, could we please,
Ole Miss.
Or Ole Miss, yeah. Can we please get out of La La Land and come back to reality, please?
I started the hashtag Let's Be Jerks more than a decade ago after Al Golden was fired in 2015 because I wanted Lane Kiffin then. Would I take Lane Kiffin? Yeah, I think that he's grown up as a coach, and I think that he could really do some things here. And I think that the offense would actually embody what I want to see some more. It ain't happening. We're not burning neon $150 million to get rid of this whole entire staff, which has tons of big Will Harris, Zach Etheridge, Jason Taylor, Corey Heatherman, Shannon Dawson, even, you know what I mean? Like, bro,
Shannon Dawson makes 7 figures.
That's what I'm saying. We got some big expenditures on the staff. So we're going to buy out Cristobal for 61, pay the rest of the buyouts, and then go get, bro. No. But so I don't know, man. I'm rambling at this point, so I'm going to shut up. But it's not good enough, Mario. Either you coach it or allowing it. And honestly, you're allowing a lot of bull pucky to continue, and it's not good enough. Period.
You listen, I understand, right, that this team is supposed to basically be representative of Mario Cristobal's mentality. He is an offensive lineman at heart. He has wet dreams about pancake blocks, okay? He is all about the O-line. So if you do not think that the identity of this team is going to be all about those 5 guys and smash mouth football, and we're going to out physical you, and we're going to do X, Y, and Z, the way we did it at Alabama when I was there, because we had the biggest, baddest trenches in the world, you're wrong. That's exactly how he's going to think. The problem is that he has shown no ability to change, adapt, react to what opponents are doing And obviously, after they've watched several games of film, when you get to November, they're going to be able to figure you out. And he's also not, I don't think, playing the style of football that fits best with the ability of the athletes that you are able to recruit, which makes no utter sense. And it seems like you're just like, why recruit 5-star receivers or 4-star receivers or this athlete or that athlete or guys that can twitch and go crazy like anyone you've ever seen, but then continue to play 1960s Big Ten football? That I just don't understand. And the fact that you are asked about it repeatedly, and I don't know what answer you give, but you just don't change, to me, is just unforgivable. Like, at some point, he's all about accountability, right? We're going to be accountable. We're going to be men. We are alphas, blah, blah, blah. Look in the damn mirror, my friend. Like, it starts at the top. Like, you cannot ask, Inez Cooper to do better and to be more disciplined if you're not doing better. How can you do that? Because he's going to look at you like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing today to be better? You're asking me to be better? I'll be better. But what are you doing to be better? What is he doing to be better?
Nothing. Not at all. And I think that, honestly, it's regression that we're seeing from Mario Cristobal. Because, like, when he first got here and we were losing even more games than we're losing now, there was a fire. There was a passion. He was going on the sideline, after Cam Kinchins made an interception and he celebrated, in that first year. There, was the video of that circulating on social media yesterday. Said, when I get this Mario Cristobal back, who went over there and berated the entire defense, not for performance, but for the way that they comported themselves, right? Until we get that fire and passion, because he's abdicating that now, right? When he says, well, I could have challenged that play, but I didn't really think, or, again, where is the show that you have these guys back? And sometimes you have to do those things for optics. You gotta go apeshit and lose your freaking mind on the sideline on the official. You gotta get that, it's easier for basketball coaches because you can yell and scream and get a technical foul and not necessarily really cost your team that much. And like really make that point, like, yo, I'm here for you. We got the energy, we got the emotion going and everything. You're going to cost your team a 15-yard flag. But at this point, twice the cost, well worth it. I need to see something from you, Mario, because now you're there all stoic on the sideline, which is basically saying, no, whatever happens, happens. I mean, I could have yelled at the official, but like, for why? Because sometimes you got to do stuff so it looks like you're doing stuff so that all of these guys who have put their futures in your hands believe in the leadership. You have to do these things. But now he's Cam, and it's getting worse.
Cam, you're a huge Pistons fan. You're a fan of the NBA, right?
Absolutely. Go see
How many times throughout a season when kind of things aren't going well for a team or whatever in the NBA and something crazy happens on the floor, some bad call. How many times do we see a head coach just get tossed because he needs to show his team like, hey, I mean, like, I'm all in for you. I got your back. Yeah, I'm going to give it my all, and I'll sacrifice one for the team. I'll get tossed.
You'll see that in basketball and baseball, maybe a handful of times in a season, because they do get fined for that. But like the one-off technical of you missed this call on this end and you call the same thing over here, and I call a timeout and I'm walking to the free throw line because my team is coming to go sit on the bench, and I'm going to scream at you and I'm going to get that technical foul, and you're going to fine me $10,000 for that. That's going to happen. That happens more than a little bit. You remember former Miami Heat assistant David Fizdale when he was coaching the Memphis Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Take that for data. Bro, you got these moments. You have to do that. You have to say, it feels like Mario is distancing himself from the team. Whereas one of these instances of him showing up and showing out in the game to the official would link him with the program, because it feels like he's like, well, this is happening to these players and to this team, but that's not got anything to do with me. Bro, by the way, we're all in this together. You gotta do and show something, Mario.
Look at the difference between him and Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart spends half the game, if not more, literally out on the field barking at officials.
Come on. And I get that things are different, for different coaches and everything, but it's a level of passivity that I am not accepting of. Now, has there been growth? I think so. I know that some people don't love all the timeouts that are called or when they are, or leaving games with them.
By the way, I have no problem with them not trying to do something with like 25 seconds left at the end of the half. Like
or at the end of the game.
End of the game. Like, it's just...
my thing of that was everybody saying, okay, do this. You run a play. Brockermeyer loses that rep. It's a fumble or an interception. SMU has the ball, and they're going down to win in regulation.
Correct.
The conversation's all different. And I get it's easy. And like Cristobal, he said, look, if we got a kick return out past the 30, almost 35, we go. On our numbers, 25 and in is a low chance. It's higher chance of something going wrong. So we took a knee. I don't disagree with that. But I think holistically, game operations have improved from where they were when Cristobal first got here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's an immutable fact. But there's still further room for growth. But yeah, right now it feels like Mario Cristobal to me feels like a front runner. He feels like if the team wins and I can get on the microphone and I can talk that shit, I'm going to go do it. But beyond that, he's kind of a weak dude. He's kind of has his tail between his legs and everything. And there's just if the team is winning and he's able to be out front and rah rah rah, the direction of these teams in the program, slam his fist and of the programs in the state of Florida. We're the best, we're the biggest, we're the baddest, undefeated state champs again. Cool. Something goes wrong, and it's where's the fire? Where's the passion? This is unacceptable. Losing a game that we should have won to Louisville is unacceptable, and on my good name, it won't happen again. And you come out the next week and you blow Stanford's doors off in the first half. You go to Dallas and you win that game, probably win by 2 or 3 scores, because that's what should have happened if you are who you purport to be. So yeah, I'm calling out Mario Cristobal on that. He got to show me something.
Yep. I want to end this with one tweet that I saw late last night, which I think we're all feeling and thinking at this moment because we're still in our feels about what happened yesterday. And I don't like who it comes from because it comes from a Gator. But sometimes, every once in a while, like a broken clock's right twice a day, right? Mm-hmm. It's Dan Thompson at DK Thompson on X. I don't know what he is, but he's definitely connected to UF because he's been right on everything. He's just a UF grad, probably a Bull Gator, probably a big donor. But he knows his stuff. And every once in a while I check out what he's got to offer. And he said this last night. Man, Mario Cristobal really does less with more than just about any coach in the country.
That has been a fact of the Miami Hurricanes, regardless of coach, for 20 years. And you can look back at Randy Shannon, who got the number 1 recruiting class in America with all them boys from Northwestern.
Yep.
You can look at, Al Golden. You can look at Mark Richt. You can look at Manuel Diaz. We got more. So I get that, yes, it's right in the moment because Cristobal has this seat. And so that's kind of the microcosm, or the micro. If you go to the macro level of it's not the coach, it's whomever with this program.
It's programmatic, yeah.
It's even larger than that, but
it is.
One of the worst people that I know.
Exactly the same from 2005 through now. It's been 20 years of the same.
Same old, same old.
Whether it was the end of Larry Coker, Randy Shannon, Al Golden, Mark Richt, Manny Diaz, or now Mario Cristobal, it has been exactly the same, which makes it even more frustrating when it happens because it's not an outlier. For those of us that have been longtime fans, it is what we expect to happen.
It's what we've seen happen, and we've been told this is different.
We've been told there's a standard.
Right. That part, the standard. And so when I predicted 11-1, I leaned into what Mario said. Leaving the door open for being disappointed, Cristobal said, we're getting better every year. We're taking steps forward. The standard is the standard, and we're playing more to the standard over the course of time. 5-7 the first year, became 7-5 the second year, became 10-2 last year in the regular season. So if we're continuing that, and if you are the man of your word, and if you are the coach that you think you are, then 11-1 is what it should be. And honestly, I said I'm not going to predict 12-0 because it's hard to go undefeated, but realistically, it should have been.
And you're right. But guess what? Tell me I should be confident that we're not going to lose another game.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and do that.
Okay.
You were already looking at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, of course.
So understandably so. Now, not only are you looking at Pittsburgh,
NC State,
and if in case you had missed it, SMU made Zion Nelson, who doesn't play, Tyler Van Dyke, who isn't dressed out ever,
and is not going to play there. He's going to be somewhere else.
Play there ever. Made them captains, along with Romello Brinson, who's their number one receiver. Right. But 3 Miami transfers were among their 4 captains yesterday. In 2 weeks' time, you have C.J. Bailey, an alum of Chaminade, coming down here. And I'm going to tell you just a minor quick story before we get out of here. When he was a senior, not even just when he was a senior, but C.J. Bailey wanted to be a Miami Hurricane. And they had a bunch of All-Americans. They had Davion Goss at running back, who's at NC State. They had Jojo Trader. They had Jeremiah Smith, the best player in college football. They had Zaquan Patterson on defense. And they had C.J. Bailey at quarterback. Those other 4 tried to pull a power play and say, hey, if you offer and take our quarterback, you're going to get all of us, including Jeremiah Smith. I know somebody who works at Chaminade, and his son was on the team. So I know what I'm talking about here because I heard it directly from him. Mario Cristobal said, no, C.J. Bailey cannot play here. We're not going to recruit him at quarterback. He's now the starting quarterback at NC State and just had a career day, throwing for almost 350 yards, running for another something, 5 touchdowns in a upset win at home on homecoming over Georgia Tech. One of the teams that Miami needed to lose to have an opportunity to go to the ACC championship game. So we get a little bit of the help that we needed, but we can't even take advantage of it because we blew the bag and, because we needed to win all of our games. So you have that player playing some of his best football now coming home to South Florida in 2 weeks for senior day to play against the program that said he's not good enough to be a Power 4 starter while he's doing numbers. You mean to tell me that you're going to fully, wholeheartedly believe that Miami's going to win that game and not be somebody else's revenge story, be a footnote in someone else's ascension? I'm not comfortable saying that full stop. So we're going to see. So, yeah, I mean, could you lose that game? Absolutely. Could you lose to Pittsburgh? Absolutely. Could you lose both? Absolutely. Season's already over. It's just how over is it and how far from standard do you fall?
On that note, we will go on with the rest of our Sunday. Hopefully both of us will have a good NFL Sunday from that perspective and wipe the bad taste out of our mouths for at least a few hours until it comes back to haunt us this week. All right. Cam Underwood, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you getting up early after you went to bed very late or very early, depending on how you looked at it. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you all for listening and watching. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share. Please do all of the things that help us get out to more people. We appreciate you. For Cam Underwood, I'm Brian the Beast London. We'll see you next time right here on The Real Ones Canes Podcast. Peace.